Oh, hello, everybody. My name's Ron, and I want to thank anybody who's watched my other videos. I'm new to this game. This is going to be such an explosive year and such unique circumstances as I've never seen in my 70 years. And so I wanted to get in on this before, as soon as I could. And I also was trying to get this video out sooner, and you won't be able to see me on this because our electricity's out. We've been hit by 3 days of storms. It's a lot of flooding, and people in this place where I'm at, we don't get this kind of weather very often, and everybody's freaking out and doesn't know how to handle it. So, this is my video about why Biden can't win. And there's one reason, and I don't hear any of the pundits talking about this. This is the only presidential race that I know of where it's incumbent against incumbent. I'm going to do some research on that and see if it's ever happened before. But it hasn't happened in my 70 years of being on this God's green earth. And I've always been watched politics. So go back to Eisenhower. I'm not sure what happened with Nixon and Kennedy because Nixon, there was something weird going on there because he said something about you don't have me to toss around anymore, something like that. But, anyways, let's talk about what's unique about this election and why it matters. What's unique about this election is that you have an incumbent running against an incumbent. Okay? That I don't know if it's ever happened before. And what it creates is a situation where is that everybody knows thoroughly what these two are about. And everybody has pretty much made up their mind who they're going to vote for, and they're not going to change. Anybody who's for Biden right now is going to stay for Biden. Anybody who's for Trump right now is going to stay for Trump. Now, there supposedly are a bunch of people in the middle who haven't made up their mind yet. But even in that, if they poll them, they favor Trump by 11 points. So when they decide they're going to break towards Trump, not Biden, that's to his advantage. There is one thing that can affect whether a person votes for Biden or Trump. And you'll see that the polls for a while now, ever since Trump caught up to Biden in the polls, Trump has been steadily going up and Biden has been steadily going down. And if you put a graph next to Biden's health, it'll go right next to the number of supporters he has. Because as his health gets worse, people go to the Trump camp because they're having to admit he's just not capable of doing it. And can you imagine what he's going to be like in 9 months from now? It's going to be even worse. So the reason why this is so unique in that they're both incumbents is because usually you have a challenger, and the challenger doesn't have a record, and you're wondering what's he all about. Well, I haven't decided yet. You could do that all the way up to the last month before the election, because there are a lot of people who will go, well, I want to hear what he has to say on this and what's his stance on that. And also you're just learning about the guy and his charisma. And is he going to make a stupid mistake like Hillary did and calling 70 million Americans, they belong in a basket of deplorables? We know Trump's not going to do that, and we know Biden's not going to do that. So none of those things are going to happen. Anything that will turn people's minds on an election don't exist in this election. We already know who they are. They've got a record. So it's record versus record. Now ask yourself, is anybody in their right mind going to tell you that we're better under Biden than we were under Trump? No. That's why a lot of the black voters are going for Trump now, because they say, hey, we were much better under Trump than we are under Biden. So that's those votes aren't going to change. Now, the reason why Trump's going to win also is because other than Biden, there's nobody to run for the Democrats. You got Newsom, Kamala, Michelle, and Bernie. I've heard Michelle's name bantered around a little bit, and Bernie's the only one that I know of who has any kind of national name recognition. So that's a pretty weak lineup. And probably most people think Newsom is the biggest threat. But I'll tell you why Newsom's not going to run. And if he does, he'll get hammered. And it's real simple. He's destroyed California. And everybody, I know I live here, and everybody in the nation knows it. We're the laughing stock of the country. Usually, we're the leading state. Where California goes, the nation goes. But now we're the laughing stock, the absolute laughing stock. And Newsom cannot win with that in his back pocket. He needs to wait until 2028 when people have forgotten, when he hasn't been governor for a while. But right now, it's fresh on everybody's minds. And if he ran against Trump, Trump would hammer him with that stuff. All they have to do is put up 1 minute ads of the homelessness in San Francisco and LA and San Diego. We have 40% of the nation's homeless here, and they're homegrown. They did, some research on that, and they're not coming here from other states. These are homegrown homeless. And Newsom he's just destroyed this state, and everybody knows it. So if he runs in 24, Trump will hammer him on that. He wants to run in 28. He always had. That's been his plan. He knew even if he destroyed California in 28, they would forget about it. And also in 28, there'll be a new slate of people to run against. He doesn't want to run against Trump. He's a coward. He's shrewd, but he's a coward. And his shrewdness, also is what makes him want to run in 28. So he's not running in 24. That's why he said it repeatedly, publicly. Biden is the one. He's our choice, and that's who they're going to run. Okay, now let's talk about Kamala. Now, Kamala's just a joke, Just pull out a clip of her laughing or some of her ramblings. She sounds as demented as Biden does sometimes, and she's not even what? I don't know how old she is, but she's certainly not close to dementia age. Okay, so Michelle, I've heard her name bantered about a little bit, but she has been out of the limelight too long. There are kids between 18 and 25 who were just little kids when she was first lady. It's been over a decade since she was the first lady, pretty much. And so she's just been out of the limelight too long. She doesn't have the organization to ready to do it either. She'd have to get that all geared up and going before she could even really start campaigning. Now, the next one is Bernie. Bernie is toast. He's so yesterday, it's unbelievable. But you do have to watch out for Bernie about one thing, and that's keep your hand on your wallet because he's going to try and take your money. Okay? So, the only other thing that people can talk about or think about that might stop Trump from winning is actually if he can't run, and that's the court cases. Now, we don't have to worry about the court cases, and I'll tell you why. First off, there's 4 of them, and the first 3 are all done. They're 100% done. And the reason is because New York's a civil case, it doesn't matter, and DC and Atlanta have both been postponed until after the election. So they can't have any effect on Trump's ability to run. Now, let's get to the Colorado case. Section 3 of Amendment 14. All right. This is an absolute joke. It's not even a Hail Mary. It's like the other team has the ball and you're down by 3 touchdowns and there's 10 seconds left. It just isn't going to work. And I'll give you a couple of reasons right now, and then I'm going to do another video that's going to go into detail. And I received a couple of comments that weren't so friendly, and I know who sent them. And one of them said, "Oh, well, thank you for sharing your genius insights with us." Well, you know what? I don't have genius insights. What I do have is I've done a lot of hard work and a lot of research, and I want to share that with you guys. I want it to be available to you because a lot of you guys are hardworking Americans. A lot of you have to work 2 jobs just to keep up with inflation, if you even can. And so I'm going to do the research. And if you watch it and want to listen, I'm going to give you facts. I'm not going to give you opinions. I gave you facts on everything I said so far. These are the reasons why Newsom can't win, because look what he's done to California. Those are just facts. Okay? Not my opinion. Oh, Newsom's just not a likable guy. Well, that's an opinion. I didn't say that. All right? So these are the 2 things about Amendment 14, Section 3. In Section 3, when it lists the offices that the person can't run for and which offices were held by this person when they gave an oath to the Constitution, nowhere, not once did they mention the president's office. Okay? It's conspicuously absent. So you got to ask yourself why. And I'll tell you this much. Those guys, unlike most the other amendments, they spent 2 years writing this up, knowing it was going to be ratified, but they spent 2 years analyzing and detailing every single word in there. So if they wanted the president to be in there, he would have been up front and center. They would have named him first on both of those lists. In Section 3, you can break it down into 3 parts. The first one is what offices they can't run for. The second one is who can't run for those offices. And the third one is what did they do? And they didn't even say you had to be guilty of insurrection. You just had to commit insurrection. And there's a very, very specific reason for that. And it goes back to the Constitution. Now, I did research. I even read the debates between the senators who were writing this article, Section 3, and what they talked about and what was on their minds. And it was about the Civil War and the Civil War only. The last thing I'm going to leave you with is part of their argument on why the president's office might not be listed specifically in there, but it's still in there, is because on the second part it says any officer. And they're saying that the president is an officer. Well, they got a big problem. Anybody who said that obviously hasn't done their research, because 10 years ago, and I was just made aware of this yesterday. I didn't even know about it, but in my research, I found it. And I was saying that he wasn't an officer based on other factors, which by themselves prove that he's not an officer. But this one is a video about John Roberts 10 years ago as the head Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. They had a case. It involved whether or not the president was an officer, and they emphatically, their opinion and their ruling in it was that the president's office is not an officer. And the court is even more conservative now than it was then. Okay? So if you like this, or even if you didn't, just hit a like for me anyways. But no, if you like this, please hit like. If you want to watch more, please watch more. If you want to get notified, hit the notification. And I'd love it if you'd subscribe. I want to get this up and going as much as possible. I'm not going to be making any money off it. I'm volunteering my time just to help people get informed, because like I said, a lot of you're just too tired when you come home from work. You're a single parent, you got kids to take care of, and you just don't have the time to do this research. So I want to share it with you. So thank you much for that. And I'll be working on today. I'm going to be working on getting that other video out. I don't know if I'm going to get my electricity back anytime soon, but we'll see. And so it makes it more difficult for me to get these out. And so I don't know how long it's going to take to make the second one. This one has taken me over 3 days. I wanted to get it out 3 days ago, but it's with the electricity out. It's just been crazy around here trying to get a generator going. We can only run certain things off of it. We don't want the food to spoil in the fridge, stuff like that. So thanks for watching. Bye for now.